Greetings dear viewer and welcome to episode 6 of my survival Minecraft Let's Play. I am Iwat and as you can see we are standing here in a little box with some villagers and some beds. That is because in this episode I want to do some work with my villagers and I also want to start a new project. That new project is a skeleton farm. So can we please play the intro? Alright, as you can see, I made a new villager box because the old villager box used to be up on top of our base over there. And I moved all my villagers into this villager box, which is bigger and it has beds. The reason for that is with beds we can make more villagers. Even though we are constructing a villager breeder, we are going to let that rest for a bit. If you watched the end of the previous episode, don't worry, we'll get to it, we'll cover it. But first let's do some other things because I don't want to scare new viewers away with some redstone immediately in the beginning of a video. Yeah, anyway, I made this box with some beds and some villagers, and by throwing bread at villagers, when there are more beds than villagers, you can make new villagers. As you can see right here, oops, I punched a villager, that was not what I intended to do. Yeah, as you can see there are 2 new villagers here, and that is good because I want 2 new villagers, a mending book trade and a one of these guys. And yeah, so let's log this guy in because I want something to trade bricks. And oh, they are already making a new villager. As you can see, they are doing it right before our eyes. Which is good because we also still want to farm our villagers for the villager breeder. But for now, I am going to try and unlock some trades because we still have... Where is the guy that has the trade? I think it is this guy. Yeah, we still do not have diamond armor, even though this trade has been available to us for a long time. So I think it's about time that we do that. Alright, I acquired myself some emeralds through trading sticks with the Fletcher and trading wool with the Shepherd. And I think it is about time to acquire both of these and unlock the last traits of that guy. And let's see what he has. Fire protection and fire protection. That's okay, that's not the best thing that we could get, but it's fine. And we are 2 emeralds short for the helmet. Well, let's put everything on for now. At least we have that. The helmet will acquire in a second here. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I have acquired myself a mending villager. And as you can see, I already locked him in by trading in some paper. However, as you can see, it's quite expensive. Now, that does not have to be a problem because we have golden apples and stuff, but we don't have access to that right now. And I can't be bothered to get myself more emeralds right at this moment, so for now I'm going to leave it. Probably the first thing that I will put mending on is my pickaxe, but that's for later on in the episode, or maybe a later episode, I'm not sure how everything is going to go. I now want to switch to a different project. And that other project is this, the skeleton spawner. And I kind of want to make like a fancy room around this spawner today. And I'm just going to try and build some things that I think will look good. I have not designed anything around this spawner on forehand. So I'm just trying some things out, and if we undo it, so be it. So what I have in mind is I want to try and build a glass floor here, or well, tinted glass floor here. Because a tinted glass will block the light, which is good for a spawner. So the idea is a glass floor here where the actual room where you will be wandering around in and doing your stuff you want to do with your spawner is going to be up here, and this will be the floor. So that way you can always look down onto the spawner and see it like as you are in this room. I think that will look very nice actually. However, as you can see, we just ran out of tinted glass. So we'll need to gather some more amethyst because we don't have any amethyst anymore. Luckily, that's not really a problem because we know to geodes. And we can always just wait until we place in more of that. I actually think that will look really cool, but I am first going to make the actual room with the spawner. And let me think of some good blocks to use in that. I'm thinking maybe jungle wood, or maybe mud blocks even. That's a fancy block that we have access to that I haven't used yet. Yeah, let me think what I want to use here. Alright, I had a thought about what blocks that I want to use, and I really want to try out the packed mud block. And the way you get that is by making mud first, like this. Then you get this mud, and then you craft it with wheat, if we have that. We don't have wheat. Let's go up to the surface and let's get some wheat to craft some packed mud, because I think that will look very good with this. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I am trying out a couple things here for the floor, and I want to note one thing, and that is I have a lamp here, and that is important because I want to be able to turn our skeleton spawner off, essentially. That will just help with a lot of things, and I just want a thing that we can turn off. And I think I want to go with a design similar to this, maybe not exactly this, but for the floor I think I have it figured out what I want. Now that I roughly know what I want my floor to be, I of course have to figure out what I want my wall to be. And I think I want my lights to be like that. I think those combined with that will disable the spawner completely. So, for example, on this wall the lights would go like that. And yeah, I think I want, for example, like beams going like this. Oops, I did. Oh, that could be bad. I'm not sure. Oh, that's fine. All right. I was a bit concerned there because we do not have silk touch, and I'm not sure. I wasn't sure if redstone lamps dropped when mined with something that is not silk touch. Alright, yeah, maybe like that, maybe place some of those in, maybe go horizontal as well. Alright, I'm just figuring things out here. This is definitely not what we are going with because I don't like it. Maybe we want more horizontal logs, like that. Yeah, that looks not bad. And then in the corners we go like this, like that, and we strip those as well. Yeah, let me try some things out here until I figured out what I want. Alright, it's all coming together. I really like how this looks. I think I'm going to copy this to the other walls. However, in order to do that, I need to get myself some more wheat, I think, because the mud bricks here, they are quite expensive, actually. Maybe we need to expand our wheat farm in order to meet our wheat demands. Yeah, but the feeling I get from this is, how do you describe that? It feels very sturdy. It feels very, very strong. That's actually a good way of describing it, I think. It's a lot of the same color mixed together, but I'm not too worried about that because essentially we are still designing a floor here because the view that we will have from that in our project is actually always this. So yeah, I think it's good. I think this is what I want to go with. And yeah, I'm going to build that now. Our little wheat farm that we have right here now has to supply wheat for multiple different things. It has to supply wheat in order to breed the cows. It has to supply wheat in order to do stuff with the villagers, to craft bread in order to breed them and stuff. It has to supply wheat in order to craft packed mud. And as you can understand, this little farm doesn't produce the amount of wheat that we need right now. So that means that we now are going to build ourselves a much bigger wheat field. And I am going to construct that large wheat field over here. Behind me right there is the windmill that we constructed in the previous episode that we will get to. Maybe not in this episode, but we will get to it. And over here is a relatively large flat area in which I want to make farmland. And I think that works out great, because wheat farms, or farmland in general, can work both as a decorative thing and as a functional thing. And it really helps to, like, tie your world together if you have, like, nice scenery around the places that you often come by. And a wheat farm definitely helps with that. So we are going to build a wheat farm here, an absolutely huge one. And step 1 is to remove the trees. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have cleared out quite an area here. And yeah, that is step 1 complete. Now comes step 2, and step 2 is to do some terraforming. Right now it's a bit jagged in certain places, and we need to go through with our shovel and smooth it out a bit and make it a bit more flat. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is step 2 complete. As you can see, everything is flat. And now comes step 3, in which we make everything farmland. Ladies and gentlemen, step 3 is complete. Everything is now farmland. And now comes step 4, and that is all of these seeds that I have in my inventory right now. That is step 4. That won't be nearly enough to fill this in completely, but it doesn't have to be. When we harvest it once, we'll definitely be able to expand our area that we have wheat on, and that's not really the point of this farm. The point of this farm is I want wheat. So yeah, that's what we will be doing. We will be gathering ourselves a lot of wheat, as you can see. the amount of seeds that I had in my inventory is just pathetic in comparison to the size of the farm that I just constructed. Alright, as you can see, I want a lot of wheat, and I got a little bit sidetracked in my quest for wheat, and as you can see, I went way too big. On the other hand, that means that we will probably never have to worry about wheat again. Right now, this farm is kind of, how to word it, plain. And for now, it's going to stay the way it is. But in the near future, I kind of want to decorate it a bit. And with decorating, I mean maybe put a scarecrow in there, here and there. Or put some hay bales in it here and there. Make it so the mobs can spawn on the waterlogged slabs. And a couple other things, because there is actually something that I got a lot of inspiration for that I want to build that I think would fit really well in this farm. But that's something for a future episode, because right now I want to get back to that skeleton spawner, because that's essentially still what we are working on. This is just a side project in order to acquire wheat. While our wheat is growing, I continued working on the spawner room here, and as you can see, it's almost finished. I just need to place in the water and hook up the lamps so we can make them glow and we can remove all those torches. But that's not what we are doing today. Today I want to focus on the room up here where we are standing right now. And for that I have gathered quite a lot of blocks in my inventory actually that I kind of want to try out and see what they look like. Just so I can get an idea of how I want this room on the top here to look. So I thought we might want to add some slabs here just to sort of divide this glass floor here with the rest of the room, because I want this to be a little bit bigger to the sides here. Oops. Yeah, I think it would be a good idea to have like a little step up. We could also use some stairs, although I don't really have any stairs in my inventory right now. Yeah, that could also work. Or we could even do the opposite and make it flat with some carpet. Ooh, I don't like the carpet. The carpet is bad. Nope, we will not use carpet. We could also try and use some bricks. Maybe that looks good. I think the bricks are the best one so far. Not sure. And then there's also the very similar polished granite, which is, yeah, very similar. And then behind that, I want to figure out what I want the floor to be in the rest of the room. And I thought maybe mossy cobblestone would be good, but I'm not sold on that. Maybe just jungle, continue the textures from the spawner room itself. Maybe that works. Yeah, no, I'm not convinced on that either, because it's too much of the same color now. Let me try and figure out a color that I want to use, or a block that I want to use, and once I decide it, I'll get you back. Alright, I tried out a couple of things here, and I came to a very annoying conclusion actually. So I feel like I want this room to be very lush and very green with lots of plants and leaves and everything. But I also think that grass might actually be a very nice block to use as the floor of this room actually. As you can see, I kind of figured out what I want the walls to look like and everything, so yeah. I think our next priority is to get an enchantment table and to get ourselves a silk touch pick, because that is something that we really lack right now. I made ourselves a second librarian villager to trade ourselves the bookshelves that we need for the enchantment setup. And he also sells the Feather Falling 4 book. That is the first real good enchantment that he offered. By trading with the villagers, I obtained myself the resources that we need in order to get to enchanting. And I wanted to do this on camera because this is the very first enchantment table that we craft in our world. There we go. And I have absolutely no idea where to place this, so I'm just going to plop it down somewhere randomly. We will probably move this later. Let's place down the bookshelves as well. We have 49 levels, so we should be able to get a couple of enchantments going. We need a grindstone first. Do I remember from the top of my head how to craft a grindstone? Let's see if I do. You require a slab, and is it like that? Yes, I do remember. Okay. Also, something that I haven't shown to you, we have accidentally created ourselves an iron farm here with our villager box, because there are iron golems absolutely everywhere here. And yeah, as you can see, they will protect the area. Right, let's disenchant this one, that's fine. And let's see what we get. We get Fortune 3, I am taking that. That's actually not bad. Even though we already have a Fortune 3 pickaxe, it's not bad to get one more. Is it worth it to craft some armor? We can also use this one. Yeah, no, I'm first going, or we should also always check the sword, because if we get looting 3, I would like that. Yeah, I'm all over the place with my thoughts right now. Let's just take the Fortune 3, because that's good. Fortune 3 is good, and it has everything we want, actually. That's good. Yeah, to be honest, we want efficiency 5, but the difference between efficiency 4 and efficiency 5 for now is not too big to be worried about. Right, we really want Silk Touch. So let me just enchant a bit here, because I still have 46 levels, as you can see on the bottom of the screen. And I'll let you know when we get something good. I ran out of levels and I did not obtain myself a Silk Touch tool. So that will be for another day. However, I did obtain myself that Fortune 3 pickaxe, and we can combine it with an older pick that we already had, I think, yeah. And we can make this pick practically perfect. We only really need to upgrade this to netherite, and then this pick is maxed out. As you can see, efficiency 5, unbreaking 3, mending, and fortune 3. This pick will come in very handy. Alright, yeah, that means that we'll have to do something else than work on the skeleton spawner for now. In the previous episode, I couldn't finish my explanation about the redstone of the villager breeder because I got interrupted by long video. And today I'm going to finish it. What is left is actually not that complicated anymore, because we have done all the explanation about how we handle the villager and how the killing system works and all of that stuff. And what is left is what happens with the minecart once the villager that was inside of it is dead. And what we want to do is we want to do a setup like this. So we run the minecart into a cactus with a hopper below it, and then that hopper goes back into the dispenser, like this. And this dispenser then corresponds with the dispenser that we started our explanation with all the way in the beginning. Yeah, in reality we might add a chest here just so we have a stock of a couple minecarts at any point in time. And then we are done with our explanation, you would think, because we've had every part of it. But actually there is one more thing that I want to make a little bit more fancy, and that is this thing, this lever right here. This thing is the control, basically, where we choose, do we want to keep this villager or do we want to kill this villager? And instead of using a lever here, I want to use a button, because buttons just feel fancier in this game. And to do that, we are going to use a circuit like this. So if we press this button, the redstone over there and over there is going to swap. So this one is on right now, and now this one is off. And if I press this, it swaps. And if I press it again, it swaps again. And yeah, you get the point by now. And the way this works is you have two droppers here with an item in one of them. And the bottom one is facing up and the top one is facing into the barrel. And if you power a dropper, it will put the item inside of it into the thing that it's facing into. And if you put it like this, what will happen is every time you push this button, they will swap the item. So right now it's in the top one, and if I press the button, it will put it in the barrel and it will go down through the hopper into the bottom one. So they will swap the item between the top one and the bottom one, as you can see. And this comparator right here, using that, we can detect whether or not the item is in the top one. And using that, we can simply toggle between on and off using a button. And I'm using a redstone torch, we can make this thing where one is on and one is off. I also want to note that there are different ways of building a lot of the things that we have here. For example, you can do this exact same circuit using pistons as well. So every time I press this button, the side that is on swaps between left and right. In our villager breeder, we will be using this one simply because of how the space works and how how I do not have that much slime to make sticky pistons for this, but we'll definitely build more of these in the future, so perhaps at some point I'll explain how this one works. There is one thing I want to note, and that is that all of the redstone that I explained here will be warped and deformed in the actual villager breeder, but the essence of the circuit is still the same. And with that explanation now completely done, that brings us to the end of this episode, because our video probably already has a considerable length by now. I would like to thank you for watching, and yeah, I really enjoyed making this episode, because doing some perhaps boring and repetitive stuff, like making the giant wheat farm, kind of works as meditation for me. Like, I can just sit down and work for, I don't know, an hour on this game and then go back to other stuff in my life. It's really therapeutic for me. Yeah, I really enjoyed making this episode. And also this skeleton farm, I really like how this is coming together. I placed it in the water, by the way. But yeah, still, I have to wrap up this episode, even though it was so nice to make. I would like to thank you for watching, especially if you watched all the way to the end. I hope I can see you in the next episode. Oh, and I am almost forgetting the fact of the video. The fact of the video is that most of the microplastics we produce actually come from tires. Thank you for watching. I hope I can see you in the next episode, and goodbye.